Alrighty then, so the ban list dropped yesterday, and I actually was able to manage to get a computer so I can actually put up some interesting videos. So I'm not going to do a ban list reaction because I'm not a big YouTuber or anything, but I am going to talk a little bit about what the format is going to be like. And this isn't exactly like a concrete thing, because the thing is, with this whole pandemic issue, we're not going to know what the meta really is until it gets resolved, because we're only going to be like basing off Dueling Book and maybe small events that may still be running, like some regionals, but like I don't think any large scale event is going to be running during this time. So we're going to have to wait until that blows over to really define the meta. We will be looking at Dueling Book a lot to see what the best players on there will be running. But the truth is, there are a lot of players in this game who don't want to play on Dueling Book and may not do so even if they're forced to. So we just don't have that innovation and creativity that some players might have inside of actual competitive play. Not to say that some of the players in Dueling Book aren't innovative and creative, but it's just not the same. So we won't really know what the exact meta is till after. But what I can tell you, it's gonna be a clusterfuck of shit. And excuse the language, but like we have a lot of decks that are have a spot in the throne, and these are just some of the decks that I thought of. But honestly, I can think of a lot more that I didn't want to mention. Is, for example, I'm a Fluffle player. I've always loved Fluffles, and I've been playing Fluffles for years and years. I don't think this new Master Rule does as much as Fluffle players have been saying it does, because I was playing and I've done very successful with different versions of Fluffles, like Sky Striker Fluffles, Zodiac Fluffles, things like that. I've topped LLDS and regional, and usually win locals, things like that. So I think Fluffles right now, last format, like it was competing for me very well. It did very well against Shadows. Not last format, but like that little period of time where Shadows became a good thing. It did really well against Shadows, and it did well against other decks. So I was just having a lot of fun with that deck. And now it's pretty much the same. The only difference, like the major difference now, is that when I super poly, I can still make my plays without having to link away, which is pretty decent. So talking about Shadows, honestly, Shadows is going to be one of the most popular decks, being that it's so accessible right now, and it is really good. It does get slightly better with the Master Row. Not like they were being that restricted by the links. They like to go into gravity controller and things like that, anyways. But they'll have a little more mobility, especially for the invoked engine players. They're going to be able to move around more freely and maybe be able to pop out with double Machaba and Winda, things like that. That might just be really hard to deal with, to be honest. There's also the pure Shadows and Trickstar Shadows and any other variant. All of these variants are going to be pretty reliable, and definitely expect to be seeing a lot of Shadows, unless some sort of deck that completely counters it pops up, but I don't really think that's going to be the issue. Another deck that's going to be right behind it is Dinos. So Dinos have always been a big threat in the meta game. That you have to watch out, because it's always a competitive road deck and it's always a really good deck. Just it can blow you out of the water with a quick OTK, and just UTC itself can get rid of so much stuff. And UTC is gonna get a huge buff because UTC kind of was weakened to links, but with synchros and fusions running around and exceeds, UTC has a big buff because he can flip those again, and he can get rid of them by himself, so he can really tank things up and nuke boards on his own. So not to mention, aside from being able to do that, Dinos are now going to have the ability to summon Logia and VFD on the same field pretty easily. I'd only done that because I had been playing Dinos. I'd only been able to do that like once. With like the most godly hand I had possibly drawn. Litho is now back at 1, so we have just so many plays through the deck that it's pretty crazy. We're going to be able to do things that are going to be really interesting. We're going to be able to OTK, and we're going to be able to set up with strong boards. So definitely a big contender. It was already a big contender, and it's definitely going to be there. Salamangreat, honestly, nothing's changed. Pretty much the same thing. I think it has a chance of falling off, not because it's any worse, but because a lot of stronger decks are coming out, and Salamangreat has difficulty dealing with decks that can OTK very fast over a few interruptions. The Salamangreat's one of those decks that gets stronger as the game progresses. So Salamangreat wants a longer grinder game, so that way they can out-resource you and grind you into the floor. But there are going to be a lot of OTK decks that are just going to be able to play through a Rage and a Roar without any problem, and unless they have like a hand trap or two to back it up, they're probably gonna get steamrolled over. So I don't think it's gonna fall off the meta, but unless like some innovation happens, I definitely see a lot of strong decks coming into this meta now that might be able to steamroll it out of the meta. I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my opinion. I definitely think it's gonna be there in the beginning, but I don't think it's gonna be the top contender, and I don't think it's gonna last as a tier 1 deck. It might drop down to tier 1.5. Dante. Dante just keeps on coming back. I mean, every new format you want to look out for Burning Abyss because could always be a good contender. Now you have the ability to spam 2 or 3 Dantes without a problem, which honestly makes your newbie not even that necessary. You still have it and you're still going to use it for a toolbox, but like now Fire Lake Burning Abyss is going to be so much better because you can just go ahead and easily go into double Dante mill 6 and have the Fire Lake ready to pop 3 cards and recycle, and it's just way too broken. PK engine is now live again. The Block Dragon engine is still live even though Bulb has been banned. I know you may not be believing that, but I've seen the posts on the Burning Abyss player group chat and everyone's saying it's still live. I'm seeing pictures of them playing it. I'm seeing a lot of good stuff. So honestly, Burning Abyss still a good contender. You got to watch out for that. It's too consistent, too recyclable. A lot of people are talking about DDD. I don't think it's gonna do much, but we'll see. DDD thing is that, in my opinion, it's too fragile, can easily be interrupted. But if it does take off, it does do a lot. Pendulums coming back, not really, in my opinion. Triff is still out here saying Pendulum tier 0, but I guess, I mean, Celine is a really good card, so it's definitely going to make life a lot harder, a lot better, sorry, for Pendulum players, and a lot harder for us. Pendulum is definitely going to be the best going first deck without interruptions, because it will be able to set up 5 negate boards on good hands, but like, I don't think they're playing through 1 or 2 hand traps that easily, and then I don't think their the second turn plays are going to be all that wild, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe Triff is right, maybe it's tier 0 god. We'll see about that. And then finally, the last deck I wanted to cover is Synchros. I mean, with Junk Speeder, you're able to spam 5 monsters straight from the deck, and now that you're able to summon without links, I mean, Synchros just got it significantly better. I feel like it's their time to shine. I feel like now or never is the only time they're going to be able to do something. And honestly, Junk Speeder, being able to summon 5 monsters from the deck is crazy. So we're going to have to see what happens with that. Like I said, this format's just going to be way too many clusters of things, and we're not going to really be able to know what the true meta game is until we have an event. Hopefully this pandemic will blow over soon and we'll have that event, but until then, guess we'll have to see. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you like, what you thought, what you like, what you disagree with. If you think Salad is going to be the best deck, or what other decks you think I didn't include. Oh, I did forget to mention Mermills. Maybe, you never know. They've been getting support through some of the new Deep Diva support, and Deep Sea Diva just came off the list completely. So it could come back. It definitely could be a good contender for this format. So watch out for Mermills as well.